There is absolutely no reason to be shocked by the aggression and the chilling scenes you're witnessing from ICE on the streets of America today. This is not a coincidence. It is a calculated strategy that has been in the works for a long time by the current administration and DHS Head Kristi Noem. When Dan Goldman directly confronted Kristi Noem about these aggressive tactics and the use of masks by agents, her demeanor and body language made it crystal clear the actions being taken on the streets have the full, unwavering support of this administration. In no functioning democracy do we see this level of lethal force used against its own public for simply exercising their right to protest. This is a direct assault on constitutional rights. Now, I'm going to show you the video of Kristi Noem and Dan Goldman that reveals the cold reality. And right after that, I will expose the dangerous double game behind this entire operation that the system is trying to hide from you. Watch this video very carefully, because the truth starts right here.
The asylum program was broken under the last...
Mr. Chairman, I'll reclaim my time. She's not answering the question. But the obvious answer is that, yes, if you follow a lawful pathway, asylum is a lawful pathway. If you have an open asylum case, you are here lawfully. But the problem that we are seeing around the country is that you are not following the law. Don't tell us to change the law. If you don't like the asylum system, you change the asylum law. Bring it to us. We'll work with you. I think it needs to be changed. But you can't just decide that you're not going to follow the law, and asylum is a law, and deport people who have ongoing applications. Unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. It's happening across the street from my office right in New York City. Numerous, thousands of people who have come to court appearances, have left them with open asylum applications, have been arrested. And then they've been shipped off and many deported. In September, one applicant was ripped away from his wife and small children after such a court appearance. And then this happened to his wife. Please play the video. No, it's not. It's not this one. All right, it's not this video. Here it is.
Come on, man.
Now, after this incident, your department issued a statement that said the officer's conduct in this video is unacceptable and beneath the men and women of ICE. Our ICE law enforcement are held to the highest professional standards, and this officer is being relieved of current duties as we conduct a full investigation. 3 days later, you reinstated that officer and you put him back on duty. I sent you a letter and asked you what investigation was done and why was he reinstated. You did not answer that letter. So I'm going to give you an opportunity right here to explain to me that if that officer's conduct was, quote, beneath the men and women of ICE, unquote, why did you reinstate him?
Sir, that investigation was completed. I can give you that investigation and the information that you would like. This is
I wrote you 2 months ago. Why haven't you given it to me yet?
I'm actually surprised that you haven't gotten it. I'm going to ask my staff about that.
Well, you shouldn't be surprised because generally speaking, you do not respond to
thousands
us.
of your letters.
Now, the other problem that we are seeing all over the country is that your officers are wearing masks, are dressed in plain clothes, often going around without identification.
All of our officers are identified.
I'm not asking a question. I introduced the No Secret Police Act to stop this. And we now have 113 co-sponsors so that they will not be masked and that they will identify themselves. Now, you say all of them are identifying themselves. That is not the case because last month in New York City again, the NYPD officers were injured by your masked plainclothes ICE officers after they were called from 911 as residents witnessed your officers pulling individuals out of their vehicles and chasing them down the street. I also asked you what happened there. How were the NYPD officers injured by your officers? And you didn't respond. What's the answer?
Sir, our individual officers...
The time has come to completely tear down the curtain behind which this administration is playing its ultimate game. You've just seen in the video how Kristi Noem dodged the questions, but the real story began when White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt issued a statement on this entire matter. Leavitt stood before the media and said in a deeply emotional tone, The White House and President Trump himself are deeply saddened by these two deaths, and their hearts go out to the families.
Nobody in the White House, including President Trump, wants to see people getting hurt or killed in America's streets. This includes Renee Good, Alex Preddy, the brave men and women of federal law enforcement, and the many Americans who have been victimized at the hands of illegal alien criminals.
But is this genuine grief, or is it part of that double game orchestrated to throw dust in the eyes of the world? This is exactly the double game you need to understand. On one side, DHS Head Kristi Noem's department, ICE, is exerting brute force on the streets, intimidating people by covering their faces and carrying out operations that are costing lives. On the other side, Karoline Leavitt comes from the White House using President Trump's name to put on an act of sorrow.
It is President Trump's hope and wish and demand for the resistance and chaos to end today. That's why President Trump spoke with Governor Walz directly this morning, and he has outlined a clear and simple path to restoring law and order in Minnesota.
This is the greatest hypocrisy in American history. When you attack with one hand and pretend to apply a bandage with the other, understand that the intent is not peace but to confuse the public. Leavitt's claim that the administration and Trump are saddened is actually a well-thought-out strategy to cool down public anger. But the question remains, if you and the president are truly so saddened, then why isn't this operation stopping? If the loss of two innocent lives is tragic for the administration, then why has no action been taken against the officers who openly broke the rules? The truth is that these two deaths are merely collateral damage for this government. Kristi Noem's recent statement confirms this when she said there will be no compromise with national security and law and order regardless of the consequences, a phrase that is a direct signal that this aggression will only increase in the coming days. What is this double game? The government knows that if they only show cruelty, the public will take to the streets, so they are playing good cop, bad cop politics. Kristi Noem is the bad cop creating fear, while Karoline Leavitt uses the president's name to act as the good cop, pretending to wipe away people's tears, while the real agenda moves forward under the cover of this chaos. The administration is strengthening laws to permanently crush any voice of protest in the future. When Leavitt stands at the White House podium talking about Trump's sympathy, she is providing cover fire, diverting media attention away from the investigation of those two deaths and toward emotions, while on the ground the orders remain the same. No leniency. This duplicity is the greatest strength of this government and the biggest threat to the public. Even the claim that ICE masks are for safety raises the question, safety from what? Accountability or the public eye? This is not a minor clash. This is a test to see whether people will believe Leavitt's sweet words or stand up against Noem's tyranny. If we remain silent today, the number of deaths could rise tomorrow. This double game is meant to divide us, to keep us arguing over tone while both sides follow the same script. The true face of the administration is not seen at the White House podium, but in the actions of masked agents in the darkness. Their motive is not security, but absolute control. It is time to wake up, break this web of deception, and make it clear that the public will not fall for false tears and hollow threats. This fight is not just for today, but for the rights of future generations. If you also believe this administration is playing a double game with the public, then like this video, share your opinion in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so the truth reaches every home, because even a single voice can stop this tyranny. Stay tuned, because the truth is even deeper.